Okay, let's get started. Welcome to English Dictionary Infinity.
Hello.
In this deep dive, we're going to explore some words that, well, they often cause a bit of trouble. Words that are commonly misunderstood.
Yeah, even by native speakers sometimes. It happens.
Exactly. So our plan today is to unpack 5 of these tricky words. We'll look at their actual meaning and, why they tend to confuse people.
Sounds good. It's interesting how meanings can drift, isn't it?
It really is.
Mm.
Right, let's jump straight in with a big one. Literally.
Yes. Literally, a classic.
The dictionary definition is basically in a literal or exact sense, so not figurative.
Right.
And the example often uses something like, when she said, "I'm literally dying of laughter," she meant it figuratively, not literally.
That's a perfect example because the whole issue with literally is that people use it precisely for that, for exaggeration, for emphasis.
Exactly, when they actually mean figuratively.
Uh-huh. And that makes it misleading because it kind of waters down the word's power. If you do mean something happened in an actual exact sense, well, how do you make that clear?
Yeah, it loses its punch. If you say you're literally freezing when you just mean you're a bit cold, what happens when you're actually, dangerously cold?
It blurs the line. Definitely erodes precision.
Okay, moving on. Another word that often gets sort of flipped around. Nonplussed.
Oh, nonplussed. Good one. I think the non prefix might throw people off here.
Could be. So the definition is confused or unsure how to respond. It doesn't mean calm or unaffected.
Right. Not
The
calm.
example given is, he was nonplussed by the strange question and didn't know what to say.
Exactly. And the misleading part is that so many people hear nonplussed and think it means like unfazed, cool, not bothered.
They figure non means not, so not plussed. Must be not bothered, right?
Precisely. But it actually means you're completely puzzled. You're bewildered, really. So thrown off, you just don't know how to react.
So telling someone you were nonplussed means you were baffled, not handling it smoothly.
Huge difference, especially if you're trying to convey composure or confusion accurately.
Definitely. Okay, speaking of words that sound like something else. Bemused.
Yes. Bemused. It sounds so much like amuse, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
But the definition is confused or puzzled, not amused.
Totally different feeling.
And the example sentence is, she looked bemused when the instructions made no sense at all.
Right. The confusion here is purely down to the sound, basically. It sounds like amused, which suggests, finding something funny or mildly entertaining.
But bemused actually means you're bewildered, perplexed, maybe a little lost in thought because something is just odd or confusing.
It's that look you get when you're trying to piece something together that doesn't quite add up, not the look you get from a good joke.
Got it. Okay. Next up, enormity. Now, this one feels like it should just mean big, right? Enormous.
Well, that's the common assumption, but the core meaning is actually quite a bit darker. It's not just about size.
Okay, the definition is great evil or extreme wickedness, not simply something large.
Exactly.
And the example really drives this home. The enormity of the crime shocked the entire nation.
Precisely. So while you might hear people talk about, say, the enormity of a task, meaning it's huge,
Yeah.
the word's precise meaning is tied to the scale of something morally terrible, a profound evil, a serious crime, something shocking in a negative way.
Oh, okay. So using it just for physical size kind of misses the point or even lessens its impact when you need to describe something truly awful.
It does. It's about moral gravity, not just dimension.
That's a really important distinction. Okay, last one. A word I definitely hear mixed up constantly. Disinterested.
Oh, yes. Disinterested versus uninterested. This is probably one of the most common mix-ups.
Right, so the definition is neutral or impartial. That does not mean uninterested.
Crucial difference.
And the example is spot on.
Yeah.
A judge must remain disinterested, not taking sides in the case.
Exactly. The reason it's so misleading is that it sounds so similar to uninterested, which means, bored or lacking interest, not caring.
So a disinterested party is fair because they don't have a personal stake. They're impartial.
Right. Whereas an uninterested party just doesn't care. They're checked out.
Totally different things. You want a disinterested referee, but probably not an uninterested one.
Definitely not. Understanding that difference is key for talking about fairness, objectivity. Knowing if someone is unbiased or just plain apathetic.
Huge difference indeed. Okay, so just to recap, we've looked at literally, nonplussed, bemused, enormity, and disinterested. What's the main takeaway here?
I think the big thing is just that words can be slippery. how we use them in everyday talk doesn't always match the precise dictionary meaning, and that gap can cause confusion.
Yeah, that makes sense. And there's a quick tip related to this. Basically, always double check the meaning if you're unsure, especially if a word just sounds right or you picked it up from how others use it.
Exactly. Taking that extra second to just, look it up can really help clear communication, avoid misunderstandings.
It really can.
Yeah.
It definitely makes you think, how many other words are out there that we think we know,
Hmm.
but maybe we're using them slightly off?
It's a good question, something to keep an ear out for.
Well, this was really clarifying. Thanks for diving into these 5 tricky words with us.
My pleasure. It was interesting.
See ya.